Throughout history, our nation has been shaped by the bravery and sacrifice of our American veterans.
Whether it was current war veterans, Vietnam or Korea or World War II for that matter, when they're there, they're thinking about home. And when they're home, they're thinking about there.
I left Vietnam, but Vietnam never left me. That's how I'm living.
Why did I come back? Every day you deal with survivor's guilt.
Why are they gone and I'm not? You know, what have I done to deserve to be here? Why don't they deserve to be here?
The guilt is what took me down.
From humanitarian missions to the battlefields, from peacetime duties or a foxhole, these brave men and women have stood ready to answer the call of duty, sacrificing their own safety and comfort for the greater good, for you and for me. But these sacrifices all come with a cost. Some made the ultimate sacrifice, a sacrifice that their families will continue to bear.
So I knew what they were there to say. I know that Sean was home in heaven.
Major Campbell!
Before that next morning.
Major Sean Campbell!
He was a fighter. Might be gone, but I just think in so many ways he's just still with me in so many ways.
For many veterans, the physical wounds may heal over time, but it's the invisible wounds of war that can linger for a lifetime.
When you're talking with friends and the sun's out, the birds are singing, it's pretty easy to cope with them. But at night, when you're alone with your own thoughts, the demons come out.
We wanted to document the lives of our U.S. military veterans one story at a time at the individual level. It also evolved into something much greater. And over time, what we've been able to do is actually raise enough money where we're now providing the funding for the treatment of post-traumatic stress. Not only for our veterans, but also for their family members, because family members serve also.
What has really changed my life is that you guys are there, you guys are authentic, you guys are real, and you care, and you're genuine. You still have given me hope with all these things to look forward to in life. So it's definitely saved my life.
There's a saying that says, never deprive somebody of hope because it may be all they have.
That's very true. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jake Arstecki has saved my life. Knowing that I'm heard as a person, as an individual, especially being a female in the military, I'm glad that there's people like Jay willing to help people. There's a special place in heaven for them.
Telling their stories and documenting their lives so that future generations truly understand the sacrifices these men and women have made has always been one goal of our organization. But our end goal remains the same. Our mission today and every day is Operation Healing Heroes.
If we can make tomorrow better than today for our veterans and their family members, isn't it worth it?
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of Homefront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Miss Candace, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, man.
I'm hiding, but I'm good.
You are hiding. You're kind of quarantining yourself.
Mhm.
Last night's episode, man, if you missed it, Michelle Black, who is a Gold Star widow, author of the book Sacrifice, and also the founder of the Soldiers Alliance Foundation. You need to go back and check that one out last night. Because, big old Marine here. I was almost in tears a few times during that episode.
I know you had to keep turning away from me. Like, don't look at me. I was done.
Oh, God, it was so powerful, man. I tell you, just to hear her story and the resilience that she has. I mean, God, it was just holy cow, man.
It's like you take one person and it's a spouse, but then there's kids involved. And
the kids were the the major factor, and to see how I don't even go into the whole story, but just to see. But just to know that they're doing really wonderful. They're 16 and 17 now. Of course, at the time, I think they were 9 and 10 or 8 and 9. And you have to go watch the episode to understand what we're talking about.
No, it's rough.
Yeah, it was very rough. But we're going to move on to a better subject today. Well, I don't want to say better subject, but
happier
subject. We got a guy that's coming on here in just a few minutes. We're going to bring him on. His name's Mark Richardson. He is with two organizations. The first one is Operation Healing Heroes, and the second one's Take a Vet Fishing. Now, if you don't know much about this organization, it started out, which Mark will go into more in detail, but what they do is they're partnered with Discovery Channel. They're documenting veterans' lives. Now they do have a podcast. They also have the TV show on Discovery. You can watch it on Discovery and Discovery Go. And it's amazing what they do. And I'm looking at their website right now. Let's see, impact to date. 3,500 plus veterans taken fishing since our inception in 2011.
It's insane.
225 plus veterans have been assisted with PTSD treatment, all paid for 100% by Take a Vet Fishing NFP since 2019. 40 plus a day of giving back. Take a Vet Fishing events have taken place in Florida, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, and Michigan since 2012. 500 plus children of fallen soldiers have been taken fishing in partnership with Operation Healing Heroes Foundation since 2015. That speaks volumes. I know we've talked about it on numerous podcasts that a lot of times organizations only focus on the veteran. They don't focus on the families of the veteran or the fallen. And these two organizations here, they focus on the family aspect of it as well. So without further ado, let's bring Mr. Mark Richardson up on stage. Sir, how are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for having us on board with you. We appreciate everything you're doing to bring awareness to veterans services and the plight that many of them go through and how you can help. And like I say, we appreciate the opportunity to talk.
No, we're glad to have you. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your backstory, and then we'll go into more detail on other things as we go.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm not a veteran, and thank you, David, for your service, and all the listeners out there, all the veterans, thank you so much for your service. Without your guys and gals' sacrifice, we don't do what we do, and none of us in this country do what we can do. So first and foremost, thank you for that. So it's an interesting Take a Vet Fishing. I'm technically, my title is business development, but as most people that are involved in nonprofits know, you wear whatever hat needs to be worn on whatever day it happens. So one day you're raising money, one day you're talking to a veteran, getting them help, one day you're taking materials from one place to another. One day you're starting inventory. It's all kinds of things. So whatever needs to be done, we do. Ultimately, it all boils down to helping veterans. So just a little bit about myself. Our family owned a marina business in southern Wisconsin for many years, and our founder, one of our co-founders, Jay Garstecki, was a customer of mine. And he came in one day, needed service on his boat, and his boat was wrapped up with Take Vet Fishing logos, and I didn't know anything about it. And I said, "Well, Jay, what's going on?" So he explained to me what Take Vet Fishing was, and then and what he was doing with that, and it was great. I said, "What do you want me to do? I'll help whatever I can do." So I became one of his first sponsors and donors, and did fundraising and got engines cheaper, did service work, my bit to help the cause. And we have since sold the business a few years ago, and Jay then turned and asked me to get on the board of directors. Now it's turned into a little more involvement role the last 3 years, and I'm totally blessed to be doing what I'm doing. What we've done and what we've gotten back from feedback from veterans and their families has been amazing. We know what we're doing is working, and that's how do you put a price on that? So but Take Vet Fishing is kind of what it is. It says Take Vet Fishing. Ultimately, we do several events. At this point, we do 7 or 8 now in the upper Midwest, 2 in Florida. And it's just what we says, a half a day of fishing with the veterans, and the other half a day is spent at an honor ceremony with the veterans and their families. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier that getting the families involved, which is very important to us because they live it too. I mean, they live it all. And every veteran I've ever spoken to has said, without the family, I wouldn't be here. And and we hear that story over and over and over again. And it's very important to us not to forget that part of it. So we encourage the families to be involved and come to the event and take part and just be part of it, because it's important that people who understand each other get together and can discuss things and make the life a little easier. Fishing in general makes life a little easier. It's just the weirdest thing when you get in a boat and you're pulling away from shore. Your troubles kind of stay on shore. It's the weirdest thing about a boat, and that's why fishing was kind of chosen as the event, that the activity we do as an event to get people involved. So we've done now, and the data that we've looked at the website's a little bit old. It's actually a little over 5,000 veterans since 2012 now.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it's been amazing, and the growth has been tremendous. And if we could grow faster, we would. But as a nonprofit, you only can do so much with what you have, and logistically and financially. So ultimately, but we've also been extremely fortunate to grow like we have, so we can now fund treatment of post-traumatic stress. And ultimately, that's kind of where it funnels down to, because depending on the stats you look at, 22 veterans every day commit suicide in this country. And, a lot of that has to do with, I think, not getting the recognition that they deserve, which we want to make sure that they're recognized and thanked for their service. And that's what we strive for. To us, it matters not whether they're in combat, whether they're peacetime, whether they were reserves, whether they were, it doesn't matter to us. If they served, they're all under certain pressures. As you take an oath. At that point, you don't know what your life holds in store for you. Right. And your life can change drastically in a minute. And that's kind of what we found with the Take Vet Fishing events. A lot of times that one day on the water with people that care makes a world of difference to them, and it can make their year. We do have veterans come back. We encourage them to come back and fish with us, multiple times, which is great. Because the more that we get involved, the more people we can help.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, veterans go through these organizations, and they go through like a weekend retreat or something like that, and then once they're done with that weekend retreat, they go back home and they fall into the same rut that they were in before. And a lot of organizations sometimes is like, well, you have to wait your turn, whether it be a couple years down the road or 6 months down the road, whatever. But those veterans that are utilizing these different organizations out there, it's a way of healing for them. And I know with outdoor therapy, I'm just going to do a broadband of outdoor therapy, because there's hunting organizations out there, there's Jeep off-roading organizations out there. So outdoor therapy in itself, for me, has always been a healing property for me, because like I love going deer hunting, and I love going and sitting in the woods just by myself and watch nature wake up in the morning. It's just something that just recharges your batteries. And fishing's the same thing. Like when you go out and you get on a boat and you go out and you're out there at the break of dawn, when you first can get out on the water, and it's just so peaceful out there. The water's very still. I mean, that's amazing. And go back to the 22 a day. You said that you think that PTSD is or the 22 a day is because they're not getting the recognition. I'd have to disagree with you on that, just for the simple fact that me being a veteran, I don't want that recognition. That's not why while I served.
Yeah, and I probably should have clarified. I think that might be a contributing factor to it. It's not maybe the reason why, but I think I think if people get recognized for their service, it maybe opens up a door for them to try to find the help they need. Yeah, and that's one thing we've learned at our Take It Fishing events. One of the neat byproducts of these events is the people that come, their families, they know many times who may need some help, and they can give us refers. They can pass along our information to them, and we'll get responses, and we'll be able to do that. So so that's just kind of a byproduct of it. And but you're right. I've the many veterans I've talked to, none of them want the spotlight on them, and I guess that's not really what I meant. I meant more the opportunity to know, hey, somebody's here, we recognize what you did, we want to help. That's kind of more what I was getting at.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better, because I was like a minute. I don't know if veterans really care about the spotlight on them. I know for me, when I was doing, when I was in, veteran charity work, I like being behind the scenes. I didn't want to be in front of the camera and get the recognition. And I had a hard time. I had a hard time starting this podcast, because I didn't want to be in the camera. I wanted to be behind the scenes, but I had to, get outside of my shell, because the podcast, it helps me, with my demons that I have. And then when I get to, interview organizations such as Take a Vet Fishing, Operation Healing Heroes, and the other organizations that we have interviewed over the course of the last year, and getting that information out there to my brothers and sisters out there that might not know, hey, there's Take a Vet Fishing up in Wisconsin, or the Hope Project down in Florida, or Wayward Warrior Ranch in Bristol, Virginia, or, Warriors Next Adventure up in Wisconsin as well. And that's what drives me to do this podcast, is to get that information out there. So like Angry Sarge, wherever he's located, he might say, hey, I want to go fishing. He can go to your website, takeavetfishing.org, and then go down there and nominate himself, or nominate another brother or sister, and get them on there. So with that being said, so your two sister organizations, you got Take a Vet Fishing, and then you got Operation Healing Heroes. Tell us a little bit of the backstory. Like, so it started out as one organization, then it kind of morphed, and then now it's split into two organizations. Yeah.
So Take a Vet Fishing was started in unofficially in 2011, officially in 2012. And that's kind of, we use our start date, because that's when we officially, they were just a thrown together event previous, then it became more formal. So Jay had an idea, about, because we heard so many stories from veterans at the Take a Vet Fishing events. It's like, these things need to be documented and not forgotten. So he started the show, and it was called Operation Fishing Freedom at the time.
Okay.
And literally he filmed a show and put it online, and long story short, Discovery Channel saw it and called him, and he kind of hung up. He thought that some of his friends was playing a joke on him, but they called back, and long story short, they took it up. And it's interesting because when Operation Fishing Freedom started, literally Discovery Channel would have loved to own the show, because they can control. But one of the things Jay's adamant on is that show will never be owned by anybody but our nonprofit, because those veterans' stories need to be told as the veteran sees them, without any more or less, scripted or
right,
making it more, for ratings, which is the feeling thing about it, because it's all from the heart. And so it morphed. Then down the road, at about the time I got on the board of directors, we're trying to change the focus to more of a, rather than just fishing, more of an outdoor theme, because it changed the Operation Outdoor Freedom. It allowed us to not still do fishing, but also do hunting, golf, anything outdoors, canoeing, whatever it might be, camping, hiking, because not every veteran that had a great story was into fishing, and they didn't know anything about it, didn't really care to. So it worked out really good that way. Fast forward a couple more years, Operation Healing Heroes came around, because we thought it was even more encompassing than simply outdoors. Now, whatever is available to a veteran that they like to do, we want to move that direction and make them comfortable in that setting, because it's interesting how, if they're comfortable, they'll talk and they'll share their story, and that's kind of how it morphed into what it is today, which ultimately I think is the best angle for it, because it does encompass all of it,
right?
Not only veterans, but first responders, that firefighters, that sort of thing, can all be in, and will help all of them. I mean, that's part of our thing. It's not just veterans per se. So yeah, it's been a kind of an interesting road where we've gone, and growth has been tremendous. Jay just finished up, or just started, the season 8 filming, season 9 filming. I'm sorry, and yeah, time passes really fast. Kind of forget where it's going here. But so yeah, so we'll take it at fishing to Operation Healing Heroes, and between and both with the same goal. Ultimately, we both groups fund the treatment of post-traumatic stress at no charge to the veteran. We pay for it, just like we pay for the fishing events. There's no charge to the event for the hotel. There's no charge for the food. There's no whatever at the event we pay for. Mm-hmm. And it's important that we do that. And we've been fortunate to have, through hundreds and hundreds of donors, as well as several larger donors, to be able to do what we do.
That's awesome. And
just the awareness that is created through not only social media but the TV show. It's been amazing growth, and the amount of people that we're able to help just gets better every year. So along with the resources we offer. So
right now, so you said you had growth from 2011 to current. Now you guys have steadily grown, which is amazing, because a lot of times these organizations that pop up, they grow and they get really, really big, really fast. And what happens is, a lot of time the people who created that organization loses focus of the reason why they started that organization. So when you grow steadily and you lose that focus. I think so far what I've seen of you guys from both organizations is you guys have steadily grown, and your mission is still true to what your mission was when you first started in 2011. So that's friggin' awesome. And then,
well, yeah, and we're two small nonprofits, and it's that way for a reason. We're pretty nimble, and we can do things quickly. So if we need to get a veteran some help, we can do it quick. There's not a 20-member board to approve everything. There's 4 of us, and so things happen quickly, and it's by design. We don't want to get to the point where we are bogged down in paperwork and red tape, and we can act quickly. And we tell donors that. I mean, we want donors to be comfortable with. We want to grow at a pace. We don't want to have a big splash and then we're no longer associated. We want to growth that's makes sense for everybody and at a pace that they're comfortable with, so we can have a long-term relationship. But we want to grow. We grow at a pace at this pace for a reason, because it's manageable and we can get the job done. And I think you're right, because you get to the point where you're handling too much away from your mission. When you get too big, and that's what we do. We were trying to avoid that, which we've done very successfully.
So Angry Sarge, he says, I will be saying a vet and a first responder, there are less resources for first responders than military. I hope to see more resources cross over. And he is correct. There are a lot of veteran service organizations out there. And in the recent coming, last few years, a lot of organizations that focus on veterans and first responders, which I think is amazing. There's one down in Florida. It's called Hero Strong. David Rubin is the founder of that, and he focuses on veterans, first responders, teachers, nurses, and then there's one more that he focuses on too, but he calls them their community heroes as well. And it's just there's I love it too, because first responders, like Kentucky Wounded Heroes, and Kentucky's another one. They focus on veterans and first responders. A lot of times people don't understand the struggles that first responders deal with on a day-to-day basis. They might not have most of the time have gunfire coming at them, but you got your EMTs out there, your paramedics that roll up on crash scenes and see a young child in there that unfortunately has lost their life due to a car accident, or you got your firefighters out there that run into burning buildings, and you got your police officers out there that have to take a millisecond to decide whether or not they're going to shoot somebody or not, and the struggles that they deal with. So thank you for your organization focusing on veterans and first responders and the families of both. I mean, that's awesome to see.
And to build on that just a little bit, people have stress from all kinds of things. It can be something from your childhood. It could be a car accident, whatever it might be. And even military personnel or first responder personnel, it doesn't even have to be, it can be from, intel people, for instance. There's pressures on them, just like there's pressures on a mechanic fixing the truck. All that stuff is important, and those pressures, and people handle pressure differently, and they'll develop, stress in different ways, and it affects them different ways. So, and people are different, and that's how we look at it, as well as with their families. They see it. And I have a friend of mine who owns a store, a business nearby where I live, and her father-in-law is a Vietnam veteran, her dad's a Vietnam veteran, and her stepdad's a Vietnam veteran, and they all saw some pretty rough stuff.
Yeah.
So she, growing up, she saw those triggers from those folks. So she herself now, there are certain things that'll trigger. She gets stressed from that association of, it's just a different thing. People kind of forget about that the families deal with, and so they see it and they live it, and they develop their own stresses. So we want to make sure that those people aren't forgotten as well. So any awareness we can create and help, that's what we're trying to accomplish. Like I say, we just look at everybody as their own unique case, and if we have a resource that can help, we're on it.
So you got some events coming up. Let's see. Let me go over here. Your next one's an Illinois fishing event, May 19th, 2024. When you go to this event, how many boat captains do you have going out? Is it just one boat, or is it multiple boats?
It depends a little on the event. the events, depending on the venue, our sizes, we average about 60 to 100 veterans per event. Our Madison event in Wisconsin is our biggest one. We generally have around 100 there. This particular one in Illinois will have about 60, which means we have not only 60 veterans, but we'll have typically about 40 guides.
Okay.
And by guides, they don't have to be professionals. They're just people that donate their time, want to help, and they take a veteran or two out in their boat. And then we also have volunteers. So we need people to help set up with food and the venue and park cars and help boats get launched and loaded, all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting on it. And, for instance, the Lake Minnetonka and one up in Minnesota is a bigger one too. So we'll have, 80 veterans there. So they get to be a fairly large event, but it makes it pretty simple on our website. Veterans can go on and sign up for a particular event they want to be involved in. And then the same thing for the guides and the volunteers. So, and then we monitor that. In fact, we'll actually ask the veteran, what do you want to fish for? Do you want to fish for, care or panfish, muskie, walleye, bass, whatever? We'll try to pair them up with a guide that specializes in that to help increase their odds. Even though, to be totally honest, the fishing is really the secondary part of it.
Right.
The relationships that are built and the easing of the minds that's created out there is really what it's about. Because when at the end of the day, our events are catch and release, so they don't keep the fish anyhow. But they come off the dock at the end of the fishing with a big smile on their face, and everybody's having a great time. And and that's the part where, as a non-veteran, I see that, and helping helps the helper too. So you see this, and it makes you a better person as well. And that's why we have no problem getting volunteers. They want to help, and many of the volunteers, they're not veterans. They just want to be there helping out because they know what. An interesting thing is, and nothing I'm telling you is new about this, but most people in this country are affected by a veteran somewhere down the line, their family, so they understand where they're coming from and why it's important to keep them in our mind and keep them to thank them and for their service. Because so from that aspect, it kind of keeps everybody involved. We may not have a event at a particular lake, but I look at it as veterans are local everywhere because most people are affected by one somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So you can always find a veteran cause locally that to help out, and from that standpoint, we welcome working with other nonprofits. We think that's the important thing, is creating awareness and finding. We may not offer something that another group does, and if they do, we refer and we make sure we get them in touch with the right people, and so. It's not always about it. There's so much can happen without any money changing hands, where people are just talking about each other and letting you know that there's somebody out there that cares, and the more people that we can reach, the better it is for everybody involved. So
definitely. Now, so are these typically one-day events, or is it multiple days?
Well, they're typically one day. We do pay for a hotel room for like the night before, so they can come out and not be rushed. They can stay overnight and get up in the morning, because typically they leave around 6 in the morning and they come back around 11:30, 12 after fishing. But we do have one event where it is a multiple day, but it's run a little different. We have a group from a veteran facility in Minnesota come down for one of the days, and the other day is for more or less how us typically event would be run. So they're typically one-day events. That was what we normally do, and we don't have chapters per se, like Ducks Unlimited or Trouts Unlimited, that kind of thing. I guess the reason why we don't is because if you're not involved as your team involved in every event, you don't know exactly how they're going to turn out. Because as you know, the DU and other groups have had issues when the chapters are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then they get a bad rap. We're trying to avoid all that. So we would love to do something like that if we could, but we don't want to. We want to make sure, like I say, we want to stay nimble and and on top of our events, so they come off right. And not that to say every event, there's always things behind the scenes that you don't see. That there's always struggles and errors and mistakes happen, but they always come off good because you work together as a team and you work with good people and things come off. And ultimately, if we can make that day for those veterans and their families better than the one before, that's what it's about. So
right.
Yeah, but why fix something that ain't broke?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And we've been fortunate. The reason we do the events in Florida is because one of our co-founders moved down there and he was there to get the event started, because we were on top of it. And that's why we do many in the upper Midwest, because most of us there's some in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois. We're all kind of in the area. So we're no more than a few hours away from an event. So we can always get things handled and that might pop up, things like that. So if you get too far away from it, you just not, it's the mission and the goal isn't the same. I don't think if you're not on top of it. So that's the main reason why we like to keep it small and keep it manageable, and so the experience it can be the best it can be. So
yeah, we were talking about that the other day, Candace. I forget who we were talking to, but there's so many different veteran service organizations out there that do similar things to what you guys are doing. I know there's X2 down in Florida, and then I think there's another one here in Kentucky that actually they have multiple, like, so it's a national organization, but I think they were in like 32 states or something like that. And they do something very similar to what you guys do with taking veterans fishing. I know Kentucky Wounded Heroes, they take veterans fishing. They go up to Alaska, they go up to Maine and New Jersey and stuff like that. And I can see, where you guys are, mainly focused in the Northwestern, up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and then you got down in Florida as well. And you are right. Once you get into that national platform where you're a national organization, and you start chapters in all these sub areas, like say you started a chapter in Kentucky and Tennessee, and it's hard to control those when you're the national board, because you guys are up north, and then you got a chapter in Kentucky that is relatively close, but you can't go to all these different organizations and make sure everything's ran like it's supposed to. And that's where that's where finding the right people to lead those chapters sometimes is hard, because you want to put your faith in everybody, but then again, you're like, really, so I understand how you guys want to keep it, regionally. But now, with that being said, you guys just don't focus on veterans in your area. You will bring veterans from across the country to your event.
Yeah, we welcome them from anywhere, and the so what we can't do is we can't cover all their costs necessarily for transportation, but if they can get there, then there's no cost to them at all once they're here. But so we tend to try to keep it local in a sense, because like I say, we can handle it. But the other side of the coin is we get calls constantly from all over the country. Can you do an event in our area? Can you do any? Well, money and logistics get in the way of a lot of that kind of thing. But we have no problem helping groups get started. I mean, we've helped them, and a lot of it is, they become a nonprofit. There's a little bit of a process involved, and you got insurance and that kind of stuff, which a lot of people don't understand right away until it gets a little bit daunting. So we always say, start with a local group that's already have them put on an event, and you can run the event and you can mirror ours. Just we have branding and stuff issues that we have to watch, but we have no problem helping other groups accomplish a goal like this.
Oh,
in fact,
awesome.
Yes, and I get calls constantly about that, which we'll help what we can. In fact, we get calls from specific veterans that, hey, how can I go fishing? I had a call from Ohio not too long ago, a veteran in the Cincinnati area, and I mean, we don't have presence there per se, but I researched some guides and some local groups, and we try to get them in touch with somebody that can take them out fishing. And we have no problem doing that because it's all good. It's all, it's a one, and sometimes a one-on-one means more, because you have that relationship. And it's kind of like the Operation Healing Hero is sort of like that too. We try to keep people involved. So the way that works is they have a nomination process for the veterans that are featured on the show and podcast. And generally a family member or a friend will nominate a person to be involved on the show. And they'll give a brief. So we'll contact that veteran and kind of run through his story and his or her story and, kind of find out whether first of all, they're willing to do that. Because a lot of times they don't know that they've been nominated. So when I get those calls, I try to find out to make sure they've been nominated because some of those folks are dealing with some stuff. And if you surprise them with a call from out of the blue, you don't know, you don't want to trigger anything that might be bad. So, but that's how we find out about the majority of these stories is just through people that see the show and they know that they've got a relative that deserves some recognition. If we can recognize them, we will. The one thing about the TV show, and I get a little off track from the Take It Vet stuff here, but being that it is a TV show, it's a lot of it's ratings driven. So you stay on the show. So the stories are generally you'll find that are pretty compelling stories, and they're very interesting. Some of the stuff that they've been through pre-military, during military, and after military that are pretty interesting. And a lot of times you'll find like a lesson. If somebody can learn something, or for somehow find the nerve or the courage to reach out and get some help they need, that's kind of what ultimately it boils down to, short of documenting that life. But if we can help someone with any of those episodes, and we have many times, you get feedback, you saved my life, you saved my marriage, or whatever it might be. And how do you put a value on that? That's what it's about. And it really does hit home sometimes when you get that feedback as a non-military, as a non-veteran person. And I learn a lot just from the stories that I get. I'm fortunate and honored and blessed to hear on a regular basis. You learn so much, and then that can translate into your life, because you kind of look at the little things that we go through on a daily basis and that look like a mountain. And then you hear what a certain veteran might have gone through. It's like, what am I worried about?
Yeah.
So it all comes full circle. So it helps everybody, not only the veteran and their family, but also just normal people that are just listening to the show,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to, hear other veteran stories, for me, like I was in from 97 to 01. I got out in August, 9/11 happened, and I got recalled back in because I was I was what they call individual ready reserves. So I didn't have to report anywhere or anything like that, but we had to be ready and fit and had to make sure our uniforms were still good to go and ready to go. And after 9/11 happened, I called my mom. I was on lunch break at the time. I was working in a factory in Barstown, and I was like, "Hey, get ready. In a couple of weeks, you're probably going to get a Western Union telling me that I'm gonna have to report back to Camp Lejeune." And sure enough, I got the notification from Western Union, the little telegram that they sent. And it's weird that they still use Western Union, but that's how they do it. And so I got the Western Union, said, please report back to Camp Lejeune. And you know, and then I'd serve, what I had left to do there. And uh, e- e- every veteran's story is different. Like my buddy Sam Deeds, I don't know if he's still watching right now. His story, we were talking beforehand, his story is a lot different than my story. Christopher Elder, his story is different than mine. Travis's story is different than mine. And Candace, not being military, but her story is way different than mine. Her life, the struggles that she's went through, the trials and tribulations that she's went through since she was born. Your story is different. And that's what's amazing when you get a group of veterans together. And my buddy James Thornton will tell you, when he tells his story, he knows he's going to get at least one or two veterans out of that group that's going to come and talk to him. And he tells us one story where he was in West Virginia and he was talking with the wife of a veteran, and she's like, I can't get him to talk to me. And he's like, look, he's probably not going to talk to you because he's trying to protect you, but he'll talk to me. She goes, no, he won't talk to me. Or he won't talk to you. And sure enough, the next day, the guy was bawling his eyes out and telling James's life story. And that's powerful. And that's kind of why we do what we do on this podcast, when we bring in these veteran service organizations and get to hear the story behind the organization and why the organization was founded, and the success stories that you guys post. And then granted, I know every organization has success stories and they have the failures as well, but I don't consider, you know, there's only one way that it's considered a complete failure. And I'm not even going to go into that, but um, when these organizations are out there helping veterans like you guys, you take veterans out on a boat, they're with either another veteran or a non-veteran, and they're on the boat, they're fishing, they're making that connection that's going to be a lifelong connection most of the time. And that
Absolutely.
veteran, especially if they're with another veteran, they can open up, when they're on that boat for 12 hours or however many hours they're on the boat with another veteran, they're going to open up. It's kind of like, going to a weekend retreat and you get done with that first day. And at the end of the day, you're sitting around that campfire with other veterans that have been through similar things that you've been through. You just open up. It's just like the floodgates just open up. You relax, and you tell your story. And the more you tell your story, the easier it gets. So I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've had one of the neat things I've been lucky enough that I've been tasked with is when we do get a nomination on the show, is I get to reach out and I streamline the process for Jay and the filming crew to get their stuff. And honestly, one of the common threads we get from these nominations is the people making the nomination just say how good of a person this is to, how just aside from military service, just how good of a person they are in what they do in their daily life. And we see that constantly, and it's inspiring when people hear that. So if we can bring that out and other people see it and improve another life down the road, that's what it's about. And it ties in with the fishing. These veterans and these guides that go fishing, they've developed lifelong friendships, and it's important to them. And
yeah.
like I say, I've seen that where that one day has made we think it changed lives. Just one day of fishing, it's amazing how they can do that. But when they see that people care, and I think it means a lot to them when they see it firsthand.
Oh yeah,
If
for sure.
they can come to an event, or so it's just a wonderful thing that we've been able to accomplish, and getting the feedback that we do. So
Heck yeah. Now, so the two organizations work hand in hand. You got Take a Vet Fishing, and then you got Operation Healing Heroes. The Healing Heroes is the TV show on Discovery Go. There's also a podcast on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and watch a lot of the episodes on there and stuff like that. I got the website for takeavetfishing.org here. And then Operation Healing Heroes is operationhealingheroes.org. So you can go there and you can check out both. If you know a veteran, first responder that loves to fish, definitely check out these two organizations. They are doing amazing things. And you can go on the website and check out the testimonials from veterans that have gone through the program, and the good the good reviews that you get to see there. Now you guys also you got a lot of donors that come in that donate, but you also have gear, kind of like the shirt that you're wearing,
sure.
that people can buy and support your organization. So I'm looking at the shop right now, and you got some cool shirts on here. Now you got some sponsors. You got Great Clips as a sponsor. Let me go back here, because I'm going to look at some of your partners, corporate partners. You got Great Clips. You got Winnebago Industries, St. Croix Rods, Power Pole, Total Boat Control, FVP. Excel Automotive Repair, and then you got some other nonprofit partners as well.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I love it, man. I just love it. It's I'm gonna use my favorite word, Candace. It's amazing.
Yeah, we've been
amazing.
We've been so lucky. Great Clips organization in particular has been on board with us since really day one. Had it not been for them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, and they've continued the support. And they support veterans behind the scenes as much as anybody that you just don't see.
They do.
So Fastenal Corporation is another one that just came on board with us. I happen to be a part-time Fastenal employee at a local branch in Janesville, Wisconsin. And through that association, Fastenal Corporation has now become a corporate sponsor. So we're fortunate. But honestly, it's hundreds and hundreds of smaller donations that really is where it's at. And we look at it. I look at it, if we can talk to somebody on a local level, I go to VFWs, I go to car shows, I go to local fairs, I do, I'll set up a table and just create awareness and talk. And when you can go that face to face with people, it means something more to them than seeing it online, I think. So there's lots of fundraising needs to be done, which, we gladly accept donations of any size. What we don't do at any of those take it fishing events, we do not raise money that day, because that day is about those veterans. And it's kind of comical. We've had multiple occasions where people want to donate at those events, and we say we turn their money down, and they get at times have gotten irritated because we didn't take their money that day. I said, because we're not taking your money today because it's about the veterans. If you want to make a donation, go online, mail me the check, whatever, but we're not going to do it that day. So we we make sure that we don't make that day about anything but the veterans.
No, that's awesome, and that's the way it should be too. I mean, if they want to donate, then they should go online and donate, like you said, or maybe you guys can have like a QR code that they can scan the day of the event. And that way they can just donate that way. I love the fact that when you have your event, you focus strictly on the veteran and the mission of the day. I think that's awesome, because a lot of organizations, they have events, and then they're like, oh well, we need money for this or we need money for that during this event. Well, that makes the veteran feel like this, because
for sure.
Now they're thinking in their head, well, is this just for money? Is this a ploy for money? So
a lot of those events do turn into that. It's like, well, we're doing this event, let's turn it into a fundraiser. And it's
absolutely, we encourage our donors and sponsors to come to our events and thank the veterans, but they all know it's not a sales pitch. This is you're here to thank the veterans, and that's they're 100% aboard with that, because they don't. A lot of our donors don't even care if they get the recognition, but we find it important to recognize them.
Yeah.
And it is interesting, the show and whether it's the fishing, and you're hearing those veterans talk, and it gets emotional, and the donors get emotional. They see what it's about and why it's important. And same with the show, those shows, if you get a chance to check them out on our YouTube channel, have a box of tissues nearby, because you're going to need it. They're very emotional, but and inspiring, and if they can see that firsthand, especially at an event, it makes a real difference, and people really understand why we're doing what we do. So
yeah. Now I was looking on the website here, Operation Healing Heroes. It says veteran resources, and when I clicked on it, it's veteran employment opportunities. And then it says our supporters are looking for veterans. And then it's got Fastenal, which is one of your newer. And then you got job listings in Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So is that something that you guys do as well? You help veterans land jobs within, so like say Fastenal or whatever
Mhm.
other corporate partner you might have or something like that?
Yeah, that was we've kind of done that loosely over the years. The association with Fastenal kind of made it a little more formal because we when I the reason Fastenal came on board is my branch manager asked me, "Do you know any veterans that need a job?" Because a lot of these companies need workers, and so I'm thinking, why don't we, we need to. I think gainful employment is important for people's
Mhm.
well-being as well, and their mindset. And so through the meetings, and we got this going, and so now what we try to do is any of our donors, we don't care how big they are, if they've got a job opening and they want to post it, we'll put that on our website because we get a lot of veterans crossing our website. We bring it up at the events because it's a win-win. If the veterans can find work, the donors that we deal with find work, find employees. It's a win-win, and we just think it was the next step to to help with the well-being of veterans because it's important. And in today's world, there's a lot of jobs out there, and if we can help fill them, we absolutely want to with veterans.
No, that's awesome. I'm gonna. So I'm on still Operation Healing Heroes, and then I went to Impact, and then I went down to Veteran Testimonials. I just want to read a couple of these here. Um, this one here says he fulfills life with will and determination while silently battling with PTSD. My husband is a hard to the core jarhead, Semper Fi. He is a Vietnam veteran who wears his patches proudly. He watches Operation Fish and Freedom on Sunday morning on the Discovery Channel. He is emotionally moved by the stories shared as he feels a connection with each soldier. He still manages to wake up every morning with a need to fulfill life with will and determination while silently battling with PTSD. Wife of a combat veteran, Sharon B. I mean, just that one right there speaks volumes of what your program, your show does for veterans. I mean, this guy's a Vietnam veteran and he wakes up on Sunday mornings to watch your show because he feels that connection. And a lot of times veterans like myself, when we hear somebody else's story, we feel that connection because like I said earlier in the show, you know, we do things differently, but they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like my story is different than like James Thornton's story, who is a veteran from Somalia during Operation Gothic Serpent, which is Black Hawk Down. A 17-hour firefight, and it's just we feel that connection with other veterans. Just like first responders, like police officers stay with police officers in their little group that they hang out with, and firefighters and stay with firefighters, and EMTs stay with EMTs and stuff like that. It's you instantly feel that bond, just instantly, like literally, like Saturday, I was at a wedding, and at the end of the table, there was a guy who's wearing a flat top, high and tight, Marine Corps haircut. And I went up and started talking to him, and lo and behold, he was a Marine. Well, we started chatting, and it just, it just happens. It's just like we gravitate towards each other. And here's another one. He is the sole survivor of an ambush in Iraq in 2004. My son-in-law, Adrian AJ, served in the Navy as a master at arms. He is the sole survivor of an ambush in Iraq in 2004 and nearly died himself. He suffered a spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, and is legally blind. Through over 30 surgeries, years of physical therapy, and lots of perseverance, AJ learned to walk again and navigate life while being legally blind. AJ loves fishing and feels at peace when he's on the water. We'd love to see him featured in an episode. His witty one-liners and pure joy on his face when he catches a fish would be fun to watch. I think that's another one. I mean, I don't know if he's been through the program or not, this AJ, but it seems like that, he's got what we call as being very resilient. It's
But
just
what's neat about listening to this, because it sounds like those are people wanting to nominate for the show. So you're looking at this organization that's doing so much for that veteran at the time, whether it's being filmed or you're connecting somebody in Ohio, but it's what it's doing for them. But then look at the people that are watching it and how many people are affected by that, where you have a Vietnam veteran who's waking up every Sunday morning looking forward to seeing that and seeing somebody else's story and almost connecting through a screen and going, I'm not by myself. But there's so much for the mental health for that on veterans that
and it's interesting because recently one of the this is couple of months ago, one of the veterans nominated was a female nominated by her sister for the show. And as I was reading, they email us the nomination, and I was reading the story of what her sister wrote. It was becoming more apparent to me that it was really a little bit of a cry for help, because she was dealing with some sexual trauma and things that her sister had in the military. And so I called the person that made the nomination, and lo and behold, that's what it was. Because I didn't want to, so I said, well, maybe we should work on getting her some help first.
Yeah.
So that worked out where we've been paying for some of the treatment that she's been doing. And so not only does it, not necessarily is it for the show, but it's, that's just a way for them to reach out for us to get help.
Right.
If things work out, hopefully, where she can get to the point, we'd love to do a show with her, when she gets the help she needs. And we don't, we follow up. I just followed up with her last week, and she's doing better, which is great. And I think we're going to do some, we have, if this certain resource we have doesn't necessarily do what we hope it does, we'll find another one, and we'll work. We want to make sure it works. And so when we get calls like that, you try to, you got to react a little differently to those, because I could just kind of tell it wasn't really something that really was a show. She needs some help, and she didn't know, and her sister didn't know what to do. So,
and that's such a beautiful thing that you guys are ready to just jump in for that. And
it's
and having the ability to help is,
it's one of the rewarding things that as a non-veteran get to do. So to do our part, you're helping, and it makes you want to do more. And hopefully, what we're doing inspires other people to kind of get involved and do that too. So
what I always say is it makes it a whole lot easier to lay your head on that pillow every night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. When you're out there and you're helping a veteran or helping a family member of a veteran to get the help that's needed, that we say it every time on this show: one veteran at a time, or one human at a time. If you help one veteran today, that's one less veteran that you have to help tomorrow. And we 22 a day is way too many. One a day is too many when it comes to veteran suicide. What you guys are doing, in the words of my brother Al from Triple Threat Vets podcast, is phenomenal. So I'm going to use his word. I know Ty Cobb just jumped on, so welcome, Mr. Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb's another great human. He's one of the co-hosts of Triple Threat Vets podcast out of Texas. Him, Matt, Scott, and Al. Their show is an amazing show, and what they do is they want to spread positivity, and they bring in veterans to tell their story, whether they're a veteran business owner, whatever. They just bring veterans in and let veterans tell their story. And like I said, I think what you guys are doing with Operation Healing Heroes and Take a Vet Fishing is awesome. Now, you also have on both of your websites In Remembrance. Now there's only one person on there right now, which is awesome that there's only one person on there. But what was the reason for doing the In Remembrance page?
Well, that's actually something that's fairly new that we just kind of got incorporated to the website, and it's just a place for not only people that know people that want to remember a veteran, but also veterans that we've known over the years as our organization that maybe have passed on, and it gives us a place to put that a little more formally. And like I say, it's in its infancy right now, but I think it's going to be a good place to for people to remember loved ones and friends of our organizations, and of which there's many. So that's just like I say, we just think it's going to be it's going to grow from here. And but yeah, that is a fairly new thing that we got going on.
So what I'm saying, like through our whole conversation today, like one of the big things that I'm seeing, and even where Willis was like, hold on, I got to correct you earlier, but it's something very big for you guys in the background, or it's very fulfilling to show that recognition to these veterans. Like it's something that's very big for you guys to honor and respect and to recognize. And whether that's important to the veteran or the first responder or not, like I think it's beautiful that you guys continue no matter what, during their lives or even after, unfortunately, to show that recognition. Like I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, we find it, like I say, it's important for us to the veterans deserve it. I mean, you all here and listening to the show deserve it. And my apologies for people who don't show you that recognition. We think it's important to do, but not everybody does. But if we can change somebody's mind and get them to be on board with what we're doing, we want to. But you're right, recognition is important, and it's interesting too. A lot of our donors are veteran-owned businesses, and and they understand. We want to recognize them too, because it's important to know who your supporters are and who's helping and why they're doing it, and as long as they want to. Some are completely anonymous, and that's perfectly fine too. And but yeah, it's but you're right. We find it important to recognize best way we can, in any way we can, the service of our veterans, in whatever capacity they serve. So.
Well, I love the in remembrance, because one of the things that we've talked about on numerous shows, whether it be the Tip of the Spear, or HomeFront Sitrep, or Triple Threat, or Misfit Nation, or Meal to Vets podcast, when you say somebody's name, their memory is no. All right, let's say the guy that you got on your page right now, you got him on your page. His name is there. As long as you say their name, then their memory's never forgotten. They live on with every time that their name is said or their name is mentioned. Their story lives on within you, within me, within Candace, within everybody that's watching, whether on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. As long as their story and their name is said, they'll never be forgotten. And that's what I love, because I've talked about it. Once I get my website up and running, I want to have a list of names of fallen soldiers, fallen first responders, and stuff like that, because I want their memory to live on. Because you got to look at it. There's not many World War II veterans left. There's not many Vietnam veterans. I mean, there's quite a few more Vietnam veterans left. But once they die, those stories die with them.
Exactly, and I think one thing that prompted Jay to get the Operation Healing Heroes show going was his grandfather was on the beaches of Normandy, and so it was an important story, and then when COVID hit, it even changed things even more, because more veterans, especially the older veterans, left us, and it's more of an urgency to get those stories out there and document those lives so they're not forgotten, because our world's changing, and the generations of young people don't always understand that what's right in front of them isn't the world. There's a bigger world, and if we can reach people that way as well, and by these stories, that if people can resurrect a story that we did 6 or 7 years ago because it's perfectly pertinent today in every way. And I there's a half a dozen shows or so that I use when I talk to people about coming honest that are just amazing stories that hit home to me. And there's always something there that you can, whether you see it once or whether you see it 50 times, that you take away from it. And it's inspiring that I go back and look at these episodes personally, and I'll watch one that I hadn't seen in a while. It's like, it recharges your batteries because it gets you back while you're trying to do what you're doing. And but you're right. I think helping helps a helper. And if you can keep people involved in whatever capacity they want to be involved in, whether it's volunteer somewhere or taking a meal somewhere or paying for a meal for somebody, it's all good and has an impact. So
oh yeah, definitely. So Travis here, he just put out here in the comment. So Travis is the host of Oscar Mike Radio. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He says, "What do you think the future of veteran advocacy looks like?"
I know. I was wondering who he was asking that to, and specifically, like, what part of it.
So, do you want to take that first, Mark, and then I'll follow up behind you?
Well, from what I see, I think the more personally, I think it's getting better every day. I see more and more groups forming, more and more groups that are reaching out to us to help. I think shows like ours and other shows that are out there and other programs that are out there, being in front of people on social media or whatever it might be, or are important. But I believe the VA is getting better. I mean, like I say, I'm not a veteran, so I only can go by the stories I hear, and I know there's great VAs and there's not so good VAs, and anything we can fill in the gaps. And I think if people understand that there's a need for it, and I think people are understanding that more and more every day.
Yeah, I think,
like I say, I think it's really important that young people get it, and they might not be getting it in the schools, being taught it necessarily every day. But I think if we keep finding ways to make sure that they're aware of the help that these people need, I think it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for me, this is my take on what Travis's question is. I'm gonna put it back up on the screen here. So, what do you think the future of veteran advocacy looks like? So, for me, I work for a telecommunications company. I'm a union guy. We started a local. So I work for a veterans committee within the local, and then we created a district veterans committee as well, which represents all of District 6 for Communication Workers of America. Now, what we do is we get together, and we talk about things, and we got union members that go to DC that lobby for veterans' rights and different things for veteran related. But what I think it's going to turn out to be for veterans advocacy is it's going to take, a grassroots movement. It's going to take a buttload of veterans to get together across the country and come up with a common goal to make things better for veterans. Now, unfortunately, when a lot of veterans come home and they get out of the military, they're pretty much discarded. The government doesn't really care about what happens to the veteran after they served. And that's been proven over generations. It's going to take a grassroots movement to make change. Now, granted, you got the VFW, you got your American Legions, you got your DAVs. They all are great organizations. And a lot of them are ran by the older generation, your Vietnam veterans, your World War II veterans, and veterans that served during Desert Storm. Younger people need to get involved in those organizations because they do, like the VFW, they lobby all the time for veterans' rights in DC. Same thing with American Legions. DAV does the same thing. So us as the younger generation, Whether we served, Desert Storm, Iraqi Freedom, you name it, whatever. From there on, we need to get involved. We need to come together, form a collective, a coalition, and go to DC and lobby with start locally at state levels, and get a senator or a representative to support you in your mission to make a change, because we all know that the VA system is antiquated or antiquated. It's old, it's outdated. It needs to be changed, because every time you go there, they got a computer system from like 1960, and it's always it's crazy, and the way they do things, and they're constantly changing at the VA. Like literally, I started my VA journey back in October of last year, and it's changed since I joined. And like, I'll schedule an appointment. I work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, depending on what my day looks like. So I have to have appointments after that time frame. Well, at first I was doing good because I can make it at 4 o'clock, which is, I get off at 3. I got an hour to get to where I need to go to the VA clinic, or whether I go to the hospital or not. And now they're telling me that they're not doing any more in-person visits after 3 o'clock. I'm like, well, that don't help me none, because I can't take off work to come to the doctor, to the VA, before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So now I'm struggling with, like, hey, how do I go to the VA during the middle of the day or at the beginning of the day and still make my job? And so it's going to take us, the younger generation, to come together. And like I said, it's going to take us to come together and form a coalition to make change. We're stronger together than we are separate, and so that's where I think it's going, Travis.
Yeah, I think from what you said, I agree with that. And that being said, you could lean on groups like ours to help. There's lots of us out there, as you know, and there's a lot of voices can be heard when people are together.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes back to, like you're saying, grassroots and talking one-on-one to people. And I mean, it just means more to people when you do that. I always found that as you're talking to people and you believe in what you're talking about, people pick up on that and they understand it, and it means more to them. Whether you're trying to sell advertising or a car or an outboard motor or to donate to your cause. So it's important that I think you get that one-on-one, that grassroots, like you say, is really important.
Yeah, definitely. And Travis, you nailed it right here. They should have weekend availability. That would be amazing, because literally I work Monday through Friday. If they had an appointment on Saturday, that would be amazing. I'm not saying I've had a bad experience with the VA, but I haven't had a great experience either. So if they had weekend appointments, I think that would be awesome, because, for us that are, still have a current day job, to be able to go to the VA on the weekend, that would be, I think it would be life-saving, if you want my honest opinion.
It would be huge, because not every veteran is 100% disabled and able to do that through the week. And right. I have to make it funny here, because like you talk about this younger generation, but you got an awful lot of gray in that. Oh goodness.
Yeah, she's time out. I got you. But no, yeah, Travis, so I would agree with you 100%. Well, they do need weekend availability. And then Chris with Veterans Hundo Club. So I don't know if you've heard of Veterans Hundo Club.
Okay, hold on. Before you explain that, I was saying you got an awful lot of gray in that beard. She's still going. She stopped for a second. You got an awful lot of gray in the beard to talk about a younger generation, because we need an even younger generation to get involved in those organizations. Like we got to get people that, are ready and spry and like want to get their hands wet.
Yeah. I'm still young. I'm 45, Candace. I'm not old.
You're over 40 and your beard is gray.
Well, that's because of my kids. So like I was saying right here, Veterans Hundo Club, Christopher Raymond and his business partner, Mr. Finch, um, they started this organization. It's been, I think, 4 or 5 years in the making. So before they launched their 501c3, they, started coming together with a business and making a business model basically. And what they're doing is they're taking a collective of therapists, they're taking lawyers, you name it, and within their organization. And if a veteran needs help with something, needs a lawyer for something, they got somebody there that can help them. If they need somebody to help with writing a book, they got somebody to help do that. And so Veterans Hundo Club launched at the beginning of the year, and they're doing amazing things. I can't wait to have him and his business partner on to talk about Veterans Hundo Club and what they got going on. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Veterans Hundo Club, I recommend checking them out and seeing what Mr. Raymond's doing there. And then Travis says here, the care I have received from the VA has been top notch. They put me back together and took the time to get me right. That's you are very lucky, Travis, that you got a VA that was worth a pot. Let's just put it that way. Some VAs, like you said, Mark, it is nice to hear that, because there are some VAs. You said it just a minute ago, Mark. Some VAs are crappy. Some VAs are amazing. And a lot of that, I guess, depends on your state funding and stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But Mark, I want to, before I let you go, I want to, because I know you're on vacation at you're visiting your family there in Virginia. Is there anything that you want to touch on before we let you go?
I guess I just like to, number one, thank you for bringing us on here and for your service. Thank you for helping Veterans Candace, everything you do.
Thank you.
To all your listeners and veterans and supporters, thank you so much for what you do for our country and what you've done for our country, what you continue to do for our country. And if there's anything that we can ever do, please reach out on our website, Take It Fishing or Operation Healing. There's info emails. You can reach out to one of us. It'll come to me, or one of our team will get answers you need. And we encourage that. So please let us know. And thanks again for everything you do and for us. We appreciate that.
Well, definitely thank you for coming on and spending, this hour and a half with us and talking about these two great organizations, because what I've seen so far, over the last month that me and you have been talking offline and stuff like that, you guys are doing amazing things. And I'm going to hit on some of your events that you got coming up, just to tell people what's coming up. So May 19th, 2024, you got a event in Illinois, a fishing event. June 15th in Madison, Wisconsin, you got a fishing event. August 10th in Lake Miles, LACS in Minnesota. August the 11th, so that's going to be a 2-day event, it looks like. You got August the 11th also. September 14th at Lake Minnetonka in Minnesota. September 21st at Lake Charlevoix. Is that right? Charlevoix?
Charlevoix.
Forgive him, Mark. He's a Marine.
I am a Marine. In Michigan. September 28th, you got Gull Lake in Minnesota. October 12th, you got Eagle River in Wisconsin as well. So if you are out there and you want to nominate a veteran to go to one of these fishing events, just go to their website.
Well, let me clarify that.
Okay.
The nominated vet is for the Operation Healing Heroes show or podcast.
Okay.
The events you sign up and then participate that way. It's not really a nomination process. Yeah, that's right. But maybe I didn't clarify that. But you can go on any of those events, register to take part of them, or if yourself or someone who would like to be, who you think could be like to nominate for the show, please go on that operation website and do that. You can also on our website, if you're watching a show and you want to thank that veteran on our Operation Healing Heroes website, you can thank that veteran for their service. So we give the audience a chance to give back too, or send us a message, and we'll contact the veteran for you. So
that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's awesome. I love
Yep.
it. I love it. But like I said, once again, thank you for coming on and spending this time with us. I know like I said, I know you're on a holiday vacation there in Virginia with your family. So thank you for spending time. Make sure you tell the wife and kids that I said thank you as well for allowing you come out and hang out with us for a little while and talk about your two great organizations, sir. So I just want
Enjoy your family.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be here, and thank you so much again for everything.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, Mark.
All right,
Good night.
Candace, how cool was that?
It was cool, other than a little yappy goose. I love what they do.
Look, our brother's on.
Doc.
My brother Doc. I love
You
Doc.
said our brother. I didn't even have to look up. I was like, Doc.
No, I love
love you,
Doc,
Doc.
man. Hey, Doc. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So you see the shirt that I'm wearing. For all of you out there, Travis, Chris,
I almost ran in the room and put mine
Doc,
on.
I'm going to paste the link. So here's the link right here. I just posted it in the chat. sameflagsameoath.com/products/marine it down. As you can see, Marine It Down is a HomeFront Sitrep co-branded shirt with sameflagsameoath.com. Got your six culture. The good thing about this shirt is if you go and buy this shirt at the end of the year, we're going to get 25% of all sales. What Candace and I have came up with is at the end of the year, however the amount of money we get, we're going to do a live. We're going to put all these names of these different veteran service organizations into a randomizer, and we're going to spin the wheel.
Or we might tie Willis to a wheel and see what happens.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool. Or just have one behind us, a little spinning. But what we're going to do is we're going to put all these veteran service organizations from the state of Kentucky, because that's where we're located. We're going to put them in the wheel. We're going to spin it, and whoever it lands on, that's where the money's going to go. We're going to write a check right to that organization and donate it. So go to sameflagsameoath.com, click on the co-branded designs, scroll down till you see the Marine It Down.
Yes, Doc. Yes.
Tie me to the hamster wheel.
And order. He's stuck with you as a brother. You're a soldier. I could try to get rid of you twice.
Yeah, James, you're a brother. Yeah, you're a brother.
Yeah, but you don't have to be a Marine to wear that shirt. You just wear it to make fun of the Marines. That's why I got it.
Not even really make fun of Marines, Candace. Listen, so everybody knows that
written in crayon.
Listen, Linda, you're fired.
And we're telling you I did it. I almost got fired before the show.
So, in the military, we always say we use the KISS method: keep it simple, stupid, or dumb it down, break it down, Barney style. However, Marine It Down is just a simple play off of that. It is written in red crayon because we are Marines and we love red. So
and you gotta marine it down.
And you gotta marine it down. Yeah, you gotta marine it down. So go there, order the shirt. When you get the shirt and you put it on for the first time, take a picture of you wearing that shirt, post it on Facebook, tag HomeFront Sitrep, tag Got Your Six Culture as well, and then that would be amazing.
And then one of us, throw us in there. We want to see it.
Yeah, we definitely want to see it. So Doc, I need to see you in this shirt, Doc. You definitely need to get it. But no, guys, today's episode with Operation Healing Heroes and Take a Vet Fishing, two great organizations. They're sister organizations. Operation Healing Heroes is a TV show on Discovery Go. I think when they do go live, it's on Sunday mornings, or you can go onto their YouTube channel and watch some of the past episodes, and then Take a Vet Fishing. If you want to nominate somebody to go on the podcast and the TV show, go to operationhealingheroes.org, scroll down to where it says nominate, And then on Take a Vet Fishing, if you want to go to one of their fishing events, whether it be in Florida, Wisconsin, Illinois, where was the other? Minnesota. Just go on to takeavetfishing.org, and you can go on there and you can, put in for it. There you go. Nominate you and
Oh,
Charlie.
they take the dogs.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's ask Mark. I think you can. Mark, since you're still here, my friend, can veterans with service dogs bring their dogs to the trip with them? I think you're muted. There you go.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, James, you can take your service dog with you. Doc, you can take your service dog with you as well.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
So there you go. You could take your service dogs with you. I think I already knew the answer to that. You could take your I think I've seen some pictures on their website where there was some service dogs at the events and stuff like that.
My mind didn't go straight to service dog, and I don't know why. Like,
I think you were thinking more of emotional support dogs because of Michelle Black from last night.
Maybe.
But no. So tonight's episode was wonderful. Mark Richardson was amazing. He answered all of our questions. He was very passionate about what they do and stuff like that.
I know. I loved having a fellow civilian on.
Yeah,
making an impact. It's nice.
Yeah. It's simply amazing. I know I say that every episode. It should be one of my next shirts.
Amazing. I know it needs to be the co-branded.
And then hashtag on the back, hashtag phenomenal. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, then you'd have to have triple feather on one side and Homefront on the other.
Hey, we can make it happen.
And Doc, if I tie him to a hamster wheel, all I got to do is hang a little red crown in front of him.
So let's pay the bills. Let's pay the bills real quick, Miss Candace, because we got to pay the bills. If you're in the music business, check out talenttalents.com. Chris Hawks is amazing. Everything that he does for bands, venues, promoters, he does it for free. He does it because he enjoys it. He doesn't take a paycheck. Then you got Louisville Local Entertainment, which is Rick Ames, who's a Marine Corps / Navy veteran. He focuses mainly in the Louisville, Kentucky area. He does the same thing with bands, promoters, you name it, he does it. So check out either Louisville Local Entertainment or talenttalents.com. And then you got to check out my boys, my boy Matt and his beautiful wife Becky at sameflagsameoath.com. Got your 6 culture. Go there, go to co-branded, get my shirt, Marine It Down, or Homefront Sitrep shirt, I should say. At the end of the year, we'll get 25% back, and we'll donate that out to a veteran charity here in the state of Kentucky via a randomizer. And then if you're in the market for a home and you want to get with somebody who knows VA loans and stuff like that in and out, check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions, Mac Verdi and his team over there. They do amazing work for veterans. They know the VA loan inside and out. So definitely get with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. Here, let's play the video.
Owner of Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of Homefront Sitrep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talenttalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to Homefront Sitrep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
My name's Rick Ames. I own Louisville Local Entertainment, a company for music shows, promotions, and bookings in the Louisville music scene. As a veteran, it's my honor to support and sponsor local veteran-owned businesses such as HomeFront Sitrep, made by veterans for veterans. So if you're in the music business and need some help booking or promoting a show for free, look me up. Louisville Local Entertainment. And thanks for tuning in to HomeFront Sitrep.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Hey guys, Mac Verdi here with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. As rates are dropping, home values are going to start to go up. It's time to start looking if you're looking to purchase a home. That being said, we are an all-military veteran loan officer team. We know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. We are considered the experts in this field. Give us a call today. Go to our website, veteranmortgagesolutions.com. Fill out my quick form. I'll give you $500 off for closing costs. Have a great day.
Owner of
What the heck?
What are you doing?
I have no idea where that music's coming from. What
music?
the hell?
I don't
I'm not
hear
even doing it. I have no
I had to go
idea.
do a wardrobe change.
Oh, I know. I see it. Oh, I know where that is.
My letters are bigger than yours.
Yours are. You're right. They are. I think I told him to go with the bigger letters. I think. Or I might. Hell, I don't remember. No. Yeah, because he did
Where's
both of
Matt?
them.
How'd we do it?
I think. Let me go back to the website and I'll tell you.
I like mine better.
I think I did decide to go with the bigger letters. Maybe not. Who is it? I wonder what.
I am stretching it a little more than you.
Listen, Linda, listen. So I put the link in there for our co-branded shirt, sameflagsameoath.com. And then I want to give a shout out to Heroes Media Group. I just put them out there in chat. My link on Heroes Media Group. I am a proud member of HMG, Heroes Media Group. Adam Bird, what he does for veterans is awesome, simply amazing, phenomenal.
Simply amazing.
All the words. So you can go.
Some new words.
Yeah, I do. You know, so you can go to Heroes Media Group, click that link right there. That will take you right to HomeFront Sitrep's page on Heroes Media Group, and then you could actually just go through there and scroll through the site and see what HMG does for veterans out there. They help you with promoting your podcast. They help you with podcast production. You name it, they do it. They do amazing. Like I said, go to Got Your Six Culture, Same Flag, Same Oath. Get
Look, even on women.
HomeFront Sitrep shirt. at the end of the year, we will get
Oh, Lord.
25%, and we will donate that to a veteran service organization in the state of Kentucky. So definitely go get your merch. We're working on a couple more.
And we got to think about that because, like, when it gets closer to that time, I feel like we might have to ask our viewers and our listeners and stuff to kind of nominate. Like, we want some good nominations to put
Yeah.
on that wheel. If there's
Definitely.
something we haven't had here on the podcast, like, you got to throw them out there for us.
Yeah, definitely. If you know of my buddy Sam Deeds, Gunny Deeds, he sent me several organizations that I got to reach out to. I haven't had the chance to yet because we're already booking into July already.
Yeah.
So we just got to figure out, keep moving, keep pushing forward. I think we got coming up Tuesday, we got a meet and greet with Ruck It Up for Warriors, I believe, is coming up on.
You're changing things up on me live.
What do you mean?
But still, if you got people and some good grassroots organizations, like, connect them with us, and you want to see them on the show and kind of spread the word about what they're all about, like, help us out.
Yeah, connect with
me. We don't have a list of waiting, but
yeah, we got a buttload of people waiting, and we're literally, like I said, we go live on Sundays and Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. We've talked about pushing that back to 8 o'clock. I don't know just yet, but we've talked about pushing it back to 8 o'clock.
I know. Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think. If 8 p.m. Eastern time, so it'd be 7 p.m. Central time, 4 whatever, however it goes. But we're thinking about
marine it down for us.
Yeah, marine it down, Barney style. We got to be Gumby, Semper Gumby, always flexible.
Oh boy!
Oh, that's bedtime for you, Doc. So
that's when you get on and start watching us, Doc.
Yeah, you get on at around 8 o'clock, Doc. I have to say, James, though, he goes to bed usually pretty early too. So
well, he's just turned into a sissy.
Definitely. But anyhow, I got to get off here. The wife and kids just got home. I want to say thank you to everybody that came on and watched tonight. Tonight was a great episode. Right here again, Operation Healing Heroes, Take a Vet Fishing. You can go to takeafetfishing.org or operationhealingheroes.org and go check out their website or their websites. There's two of them there. Two different organizations or sister organizations. Doc, good night, my brother. And like I always tell you, Doc, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime, my friend.
Yep.
But man, I tell you, it was a great episode. A lot of great things coming up. Don't forget, July 25th through the 30th, we will have the Vietnam Traveling Wall and Cost of Freedom tribute in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. It will be 24/7. We're going to have food trucks, vendors, live music on a few days. There will be security there, police officer there 24/7. So if you want to go at midnight, go at midnight and sit there at the wall. We did find the two families of the two KIA from Shepherdsville and Mount Washington. We're going to honor them, the families.
I also have a nephew of somebody that was KIA from Clarksville.
Yeah, that's Clarksville. Yeah.
Well, I know, but it's like within the surrounding area.
Right. But we're honoring the two from Bullitt County because it's in Bullitt County.
I know that.
So, but yeah, we did find somebody from Clarksville as well. Candace did, and it's going to be a very humbling experience. If you have never been to the Vietnam Wall in DC, come out. It's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And they say you need to see it twice. You need to see it during the daytime, and you need to see it at nighttime.
Yep.
So make sure you come out both times. If you come out during the daytime, stay until it turns night. Like I said, Friday and Saturday, we're going to have live music. I got a couple of veteran bands and some other people. There might be a special guest, maybe. And then on Sunday, we're going to I'll be up DJing. I'll be playing some soft music, very respectful music, nothing off the wall, very patriotic music. November 8th and 9th, we're going to have 2 concerts. One's going to be our 3rd annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert. It's going to be out here at the West Banco Amphitheater in Mount Washington. Back that my wife is crazy. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. That scared me.
But we're going to have our 3rd annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert, which we
if you're DJing.
We got 12 hours of music. We're going to have food trucks, vendors. We're going to have veteran service organizations set up as well. So that's November 8th and 9th.
Maybe you'll get to hear it in November, but not in July, Julie.
But anywho, I got to jump off here. It was a great night. Candace, as usual, thank you for coming on here and being your spunky self and getting
of course.
Give
me a few days and I'll get myself out of quarantine and I can pick on you in person again.
Right. But anyway, guys, like I always say, stay safe out there, and we got your 6.
Your 6.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you.
All right, hold up. I want to say something. So my wife just reminded me something special is coming up this week, right, Candace?
I was just responding to her.
So Candace's birthday is coming up this week. What day is it?
Saturday.
I
still won't be 40.
And Candace will be 22 again.
No, it'll be my last year of my 30s. So I'm going to make it my best year ever.
So I just want to wish Candace a happy birthday real quick before we jump off.
Because we won't have another one until. Thanks, Willis.
You're welcome. You can thank my beautiful wife because she reminded me.
Thanks, Julie. Because Julie never forgets.
So happy. No, she don't. She does not forget anything. So I just want to say happy birthday, and I'm sure we'll see you before your birthday. But anyway, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.